Hi, I'm Christian Hall. I'm the author of 14 Steps to Happiness, which is a comprehensive program to help you beat depression. And today we are going to talk about step 10, which is about cognitive techniques, and which is probably the most important step of them all. So on this one, I want you to really pay attention. And in this one, I think that you especially will need the book because it will take some time to understand these things. It's a bit complex. And I think a good way to teach yourself these techniques that we will talk about in this video is to do that with a therapist. So you should go and you should check which kind of therapists in your town or city are practicing cognitive behavioral therapy and the techniques therein, and that can help you, that can work with you and teach you these methods, because they can really revolutionize your life. Another thing that you can do is to find a person who's not a therapist, just another joint sufferer of depression, and then you can work together and you can help each other and support each other to learn and practice these techniques. Today I'm going to have to use a kind of a cheat sheet, which is the Norwegian version of the book 14 Steps to Happiness. In Norwegian it's called Glad igjen, which means happy again, or return to joy, as I sometimes call it. And I need this because there are some of these logical fallacies and some of these techniques that I just need to have a cheat sheet. So the thing about logical fallacies is that when you look into the brain, into the thoughts of a person, you will see that various people to various degree think erroneously, they think wrongly, and they have what we refer to as logical fallacies, as thought errors. And to the depressed, there are especially 8 of these logical fallacies that I will now go through one by one that are quite common. And these are the kind of the sources to your depression. This is where your depression lives. And we need to root them out one by using various techniques, and especially a technique called extended ABC, which we are going to go through at the end of the video. But first, let's go through the logical fallacies. The first one is filtration. The thing is that for any person who's then either mentally healthy or unwell, there will be events and things in that person's lives that is either positive, neutral, or negative. And then of course you have every variant on that scale. You have everything from the fantastically positive to the absolutely horrendously negative. The nightmarish stuff that you can sometimes have in your life. But the important thing is that these various events and things are in every person's lives. And the important part is to realize and be aware of both the positive and the negative. However, the person who suffers from depression will statistically, I mean it's not the case for everyone, but most people that suffer from depression are going to filtrate out the positives and focus on the negatives, and then to exaggerate the effect and the importance of the negatives. When you do this as a habit, you're going to be surrounded by shit, by pain and just hurtful things. And that is why you need to gradually learn to differentiate between that is actually objectively positive and what is objectively negative. And this is what you will achieve by going through these techniques. So that is filtration. To pay too much attention on what is bad and not enough on what is actually good. The next thing is overgeneralization. And the thing is that we all of us, we generalize. So we can look at cats and think that all cats are cute, which is not always the case. Or if you've had a bad experience with a man, and then you will think that all men are evil, all men are pigs. You might think that all people are bad if you have some bad history with people in general. And this is of course generalization that has gone too far, because the world is a scale from 0 to 100, right? It's nuance. And it's really important to pay attention to nuance and not to overgeneralize too much. Then you have the third logical fallacy, which is polarization. Polarization is a specific type of overgeneralization. in which you divide everything into binaries, into 1 and 2, into yes or no. And one example is again then if you either believe that all people are good, or all people are bad, which is in both cases not true, because every single human being has both, right? Every single human being, even the worst person on earth, has some positive sides. And even the most fantastic human being is going to have some bad sides. He's going to think dark thoughts, and etc. So it's really important to bring the nuance into how you see yourself, the world, and your surroundings. So that is polarization. Next one is shoulding. And this is connected to the word should, because most of us, and especially the people that suffer from depression, they will go around in the world and they will say things to themselves like, oh, I should exercise more, or I should go visit my mom more often, or I should eat more healthy. And of course, in many cases, you should, right? You should eat more healthy and you should exercise more. The problem occurs when you go around shoulding to the extent that you just feel bad about yourself and that you have bad conscience all the time of all the things that you should do, but you don't. And the good thing is that it's fairly easy to conquer this logical fallacy, because all you do is you replace the word should with can. I can exercise more, I can eat healthier, I can go visit my mom this weekend. And if you do that in a systematic way, you will be able to gradually phase out the logical error of shoulding. Right. Then you have catastrophization, which is what you do when you take an event or something that happens to you, which is of minor or neutral or moderate importance, and you exaggerate the effect so that it becomes a catastrophe. The problem is if you do this, let's say you get a parking fine, right? It's an annoyance, it's something that is annoying, and sometimes you might have a financial situation which makes this fine a bit difficult for you to pay, but it's not the end of the world, right? Some things are the end of the world. If I was driving a car with my family and everyone would die, that would be a real catastrophe. But the parking fine is not, right? And there is a specific technique that you can use to combat catastrophization, and that is to use a catastrophe meter, in which you take a scale from 0 to 100, and then you assign a number where 100 is the absolute worst cataclysmic catastrophe you can imagine, such as, for example, losing everyone you love, and where 0 or 0.1 or 1 is the parking fine, right? Or maybe the parking fine is 5. It's your scale, so you will set the points. But the technique is to, whenever something negative happens to you, you will test it on the scale. You will assign and you will try to be objective. Exactly how bad is this little thing that just happened to me? And what you will see is that most of the stuff that before you used to pay a lot of attention to and really feed a lot of negative energy into are just small stuff, not important at all. Right, so the next one is mind reading. And of course, this is one of those other things that all of us do, and when you come to realize is that it's not really helpful. So mind reading is thinking that you can know what other people think, and you can't. Even if you ask people, what do you think about me? You cannot be sure that whatever the person is saying is the actual truth, because people have a tendency to not tell the whole truth and to tell small little lies if they don't want to hurt people, etc. So just stop doing it altogether. You cannot know what people think, so you can just don't give a shit about it. Just let it go. That's mind reading. The next one is personalization, which is the logical error of assigning all the blame or most of the blame on yourself, even for the things that you cannot really be blamed for, right? So if I go to work and I meet my colleague Max and he's in a shitty mood, the logical error would be for me to think that it's my fault that he's in a shitty mood. And again, if you go back to the other one, mind reading, I cannot know why Max is in a shitty mood. He's in a shitty mood. Maybe it has something to do with me, I don't know, but who cares? Just let it go. The next one is the total opposite of personalization, which is rejection of responsibility, which is what you do when you totally reject any responsibility whatsoever for a negative thing that happened, or a positive thing for that matter. And let's say that your wife leaves you because you were cheating on her, and you end up blaming her for triggering you into cheating on her. That would be rejection of responsibility, because if you are cheating, then it's at least partially your responsibility that the marriage was broken. So this is the list of logical errors. And they are not mine, they are taken from researchers, from psychologists that have been practicing and creating the field of cognitive behavioral therapy. So you should get a book on these cognitive techniques. There are some techniques in my book, but you should definitely check out a few other books as well. You will find a reading list in 14 Steps to Happiness. And I think it's really, really useful to read these various books to understand fully these logical fallacies and how they refer to you, which ones are relevant to your case. Right, so now we've been going through these 8 logical fallacies. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is a specific technique called extended ABC. So ABC is kind of a core model in cognitive behavioral therapy. It stands for adversity, which is something that happens to you in your life that will then be a trigger. And then it's belief, which is the beliefs that you have which are relevant to this specific situation. And then consequence, which are the emotional and thought consequences of the event, the adversity, the beliefs that you have about the situation leading to the consequences. So extended ABC goes a step further and will end up in you asking a question with regards to a specific situation as to what you could do to think more objectively and more positive about that situation. And I'm going to use the example of me going to this party and being seemingly rejected by this woman. And what you will do when you use extended ABC is you want to fill out this form, this table that you can download from my website, christianhall.com, under resources. And it's a form for extended ABC. And you can just fill out this form. It will ask you a set of very specific questions. And the first question that you will answer is, what objectively happened in the situation? What happened is I went to a party, I talked to a woman, she said she wanted to talk to someone else, and then she left me. That's all. That's all that objectively happened. Next question is, what did you feel? In my situation, I felt total, utter rejection. I felt like garbage, and I felt severe depression getting worse every second. At the same time, you will answer the question, what did you think? I was thinking in this example, mind you, that's 20 years ago when I was still sick, that this woman rejecting me also means that every other woman in the world is rejecting me, and they always will. And every other man and child and elderly person will also reject me because I'm utter garbage. That's what I'm thinking. Right. So the next question to answer in the form is, what kind of logical fallacies are you being a victim of? And there are many here. So I'm filtering. I'm just focusing on the negative here. I am mind reading. I think I know what she is thinking about me. Of course I don't. There are many valid reasons for her wanting to talk to her friend. Doesn't mean that she thinks I'm garbage, right? I'm overgeneralizing. I'm thinking that this specific instance means that all the people in the entire world thinks me garbage. I am personalizing. I'm thinking that the fact that she wants to go talk to this person means that it has something to do with me. It doesn't at all mean that. In all fairness, maybe she thought, hey, that's a cute guy. I want to talk to him afterwards, but this is Lena over here. I haven't seen her in a month, so I want to go talk to her first, right? So that is then the next step. And the final step of extended ABC is for you to ask the question and to really force yourself to think alternatively and to think objectively. Is what would be a more beneficial way to think about this situation? Obviously, what I should be thinking and what I will be thinking if I would go to a party and be seemingly rejected by another person is, no problem. She wants to talk to this friend of hers. I can totally understand that. Maybe I can go talk to her afterwards. Or maybe I can go talk to this person on this side or my friend over there. I'm just going to enjoy this party. And of course, I mean, the difference between my situation 20 years ago and me today is night and day. It's all the difference in the world. Because now for me, going to a party is just a really positive experience. Whilst back in the day when I was sick, it triggered a domino effect that ended with me wanting to die. So these techniques from cognitive behavioral therapy can really, really change your life. They can really make you well once and for all. They take some time. You need to practice them. You need to spend time on them. And that will take some effort from your side. But it's going to be so much worth it. So please, 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 please use these techniques. It's going to improve your life so much. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.